Hi, and welcome back to my blog, stampwithelaine.com. Today I'm going to be showing you a different version of this card. This celebration has now come to an end, and these were the cards I made for my workshops in March. We're going to be using this stamp set called Life in the Forest, and we'll need the 1 1/4 inch circle punch. I have punched 3 post-it note circles so that the sticky end is punched out in full, and I've sort of put the post-it note on some cardstock so that it's easier to punch. So we need 3 1 1/4 inch post-it note circles, and this is one of the tips I'm going to give you. We'll set those aside. You need a piece of cardstock. This is in pistachio pudding, and it's for layering on top, and this is cut at 5.5 by 5.5 by 3 3/4, and in centimetres that's 14 by 9.5 centimetres. You will need to cut your card base. This measures in Whisper White 11.5 by 4, and in centimetres that's 29.2 by 10.3, and then you score it in half, halfway at 5 3/4 inches, which is with the long side on top, which is 14.5 centimetres. You will also need a piece of vellum cardstock, and this is cut at 3 3/4 inches and 1 1/4 inches, which is 9.5 centimetres by 3.2 centimetres. You will also need to cut 3 Whisper White pieces of cardstock, which measures 1 3/4 inches square, and in centimetres that is 3.2 centimetres squared. So bring in a piece of scrap paper, and I also need my black StazOn ink. And we're going to be using the Life in a Forest stamp set, which you'll find in the new spring summer catalogue. I'm going to stamp this little hedgehog and centre it onto my little 1 inch square as much as possible, and then I think I'll have the rabbit. And I think I'll have the fox. I think he might be a bit big, but never mind. We'll see how it works out. It's just the face to show. First I'm going to colour my hedgehog. So I'm using my ink pads as a palette. So if you squeeze the lid together, you can transfer some of the ink onto the lid of your ink pad, and then using the aqua pen, making sure that the whole of the brush tip is damp or wet, I shall colour that in. And the colour I'm using on that is soft suede. And I think I'll use the basic grey for the bunny rabbit. Only a very light touch. And the reason I'm using black StazOn ink is because the ink won't run. The black ink won't run. Just a hint of grey. And then for his ears I'll need some Blushing Bride. For the fox, I think I'll probably need to do a combination of colours. So this is in Crumb Cake. Cajun Craze. Next I need to stamp my greeting, and the set I'm using is called Remembering Your Birthday, and the image I'm using is this one here, Friends and Fun and Presents Too. So let's bring the vellum back in. And I want to stamp my greeting, so let's see if I can get this straight. That'll do. Friends and Fun and Presents Too. So I'll leave that aside to dry. Oh, and by the way, I stamped it in Cajun Craze. Now comes the fun bit. Here's my pistachio pudding layer. That was 5.5 by 3 3/4 inches. And these post-it notes that we punched before, it's to use as a guideline. So if you put it on your card and just eyeball it, I think that's more or less straight. Then you use your 1 1/4 inch punch and centre your punch over the post-it note circles. And you have the circles all in alignment. I'm going to use my StazOn ink pad again and use the tree image. Just stamp the tree on there. There's my card base. And I'm going to just put it under the window and make sure that that's where it's going to be. So leaving that there, I'll just put a tiny bit of Tombow glue underneath it, so that should still be visible. I think it might have to come down a little bit. And then I'll just butt up my other images. Flipped my card over, the pistachio pudding lay over, and pop some dimensionals on the back. Pop that over. The card. I stamped and cut some Christmas trees or trees anyway, on a piece of scrap pistachio pudding paper, and I'm going to pop these on dimensionals. Sorry I sound a bit out of breath, I just had a coughing fit. I suffer from asthma, and this time of year I'm especially bad. So we'll just pop those up. May have to have another one at the end. Take that off. Whoops, stuck to my nail. And the last thing to do is to put on the greeting and trim that a little bit. That's better. Bit of snail. So there you have it, two different cards but using the same colour coordination and same principle. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Thanks for watching, and come back for more inspiration next time.